Hello, Pearl Blakk.
Hi.
Thank you for coming and joining us on the new you.
Oh, pleasure, Eva.
And bringing your creative self.
Yeah, bringing it all.
Oh, that's excellent. Now, when we were talking at a prior occasion, I came up with this word and I said you popped out of the woolwork in about 2018, was it?
I think 2019.
2019 is when you popped up.
I think prior to that I was working voluntarily or part voluntarily and part casually with Raw House, and that started back in 2014.
2014, right. So yeah. That's when you appeared. So yeah. I ended up in Melbourne in 2011, and I can remember you coming into the city of Port Phillip and working with Kathy and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But I thought that was kind of interesting how I said you popped out of the woolwork instead of out of the woodwork. You've formed yourself many times, it seems. Seems to me like you've inhabited many different forms of art and many different forms of personage. Would you like to speak about that a little bit?
Sure. I think it sort of comes from being an unconventional person, and that's sort of attributed to, having an invisible disability. Centred around, mental health, a mental health condition, and or multiple conditions that help me feed into my creativity and think in more diverse or different ways, and also, understanding and having that perception that there are multiple ways to be able to communicate with people. You can communicate with people on different levels. And so I kind of have made it a mission to, in that unconventional sense, make myself, give myself the challenge to be able to communicate on different levels.
And you work with other artists too?
Yeah.
How do you work with other artists?
That's a really good question. So I like to give other artists as much agency as possible. So that means also unconventionally or, untypically, that they can come and go as they see fit, as they need. There's no pressure to conform to being, stuck in a particular collaboration. They can come in, do some facilitation or participate, and that sort of thing. So that, it's been challenging in parts, but it feels like the right thing to do is to have that agency to be able to move and create, as creatives. Yeah.
So when you first came, when I first noticed you, when I first was introduced to you, you were at a very foundational stage of your artwork. How did you progress, and how did you gain the experience that you have now in order to be in this position of being a mentor and being a guide and a facilitator for others?
I wouldn't put myself up there in that sort of light.
Hierarchy, whatever.
Yeah, the hierarchy. Yeah, if it's like I try to steer away from individualism. So I guess, I had really great mentors, and I also, had you leading the pathway to starting out a mentorship program, or sort of the foundations of mentorship through Arts Access. So I was lucky to be the second person, on that path.
That you won a scholarship or something? I can't quite remember.
I think I approached Arts Access to support me to apply for a grant through the city of Port Phillip.
Yes, okay.
Which was the community arts and development funding. So yeah, and that was a really hard amount of fund or heart to get that funding. It was a challenging application.
But you were successful.
But I was successful the second time round.
Yes, yeah, you know.
And I really wanted to be with the community that I'd been around through Raw House, and, you know, and bring something together that, you know, gave not only agency, but just gave, like, you know, that kind of equity where, you know, people who, you know, I wanted to sort of experiment with bringing in the deaf community, the blind, low vision community, and, you know, other disabilities to all be in the same space and not feel as though that they were singled out. So I embedded access into the performance, which you reported on as well, which was really lovely.
In the context of having lived experience of mental health, how is this reflected in your art or in your approach to art even?
So I guess mental health really has given me, it's been a journey. So, and that journey has been reflected in taking the time to be able to process things, and it's been like a personal and professional development. Is
your experience of mental health, is that what motivated you down the track of art? And how does art help you deal with yourself?
Yeah, well, I sort of stumbled. I was working in, you know, the conservation field, because I really am, like, you know, about social justice and, you know, climate justice and stuff like that. I really think about that a lot. But, you know, to be able to, like, fall into, you know, a mentorship with Raw House initially to, you know, help me see that, you know, community is so important, and that, you know, it's important to belong. And I feel like, you know, there's a lot of isolation when I think about my my condition, because there's only so much capacity I have for being out and about, for example. I'm noticing more that, you know, I really need to have time or a sanctuary to be able to return to quite often.
For safety or for recalibration?
Recalibration, safety, and for dreaming, like, you know, like to process all the world around me and put it into context, a creative context. Yeah.
So it sounds to me like creativity is like a driving force for you.
Yeah.
And it's also a place of inhabit. It's a place you inhabit as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Great. So can you share with us how being sensitive or having sensory vibes is expressed in your life?
So having a lot of sort of being oversensitized sometimes, a lot, it pays to kind of take things back. Like I do a lot of meditative practice, and so reflection and observation are very big instigators, if you like. Yeah, it's having the sensory elements make me think about how other people are sensing and moving through the world. And I'm very keen and interested in hearing more than one perspective, because my experience of the world and the way I think and I like to kind of express is not from one perspective, not from an individual perspective, which is also cultural. You know, I'm learning it's very cultural from my dad. My dad's animistic background. He's Christian, but he's also from the Yoruba tradition, which...
What's that?
Yoruba is like a kingdom in Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
And so traditionally they have deities, or they have orishas, and they have, you know, it's all like based sort of like paganism in a way.
It's an original religion. Yeah.
And so, you know, it's not based on like one form or another. It's based on a circular, you know, kind of, you know, connection, interconnection with nature and all that kind of stuff. Doing another work on it. I'm working on something similar at the moment.
Excellent. So. I'd love to know more about it when it happens. You'll have to let me know. Are you seeking funding for this, or is this something that
I'm seeking a residency for this, but yeah.
Where with?
Anywhere that'll take on, you know, the capacity for workshops or anything like that for me to start experimenting on like how that'll run.
Can you speak about some of the organisations that you've collaborated with?
So I'm currently working with Multicultural Arts Victoria, and we're working through a Powered By program, Arts Centre Melbourne's Play program. I've done some work through Melbourne Fringe and Midsummer Festival and
Arts Access as well.
Arts Access, yeah, and Raw House Melbourne.
Wow.
There's probably others as well, so I apologise if I've left anyone out, and also here being on New You. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with me, Pearl Blakk.
Pleasure, Eva. Yeah, thank you for having me.